The CSS Stormweaver emerged from quantum space with all the grace of a wounded animal, its hull crackling with residual energy that, to the untrained eye, might suggest dangerous instability. Captain Alina Santos watched through the bridge viewport as the massive Galactic Concordat station grew larger, its crystalline spires reflecting the light of 3 nearby suns. The station's defensive grid was already tracking them, no doubt cataloging every apparent flaw in their ship's primitive design. "They're scanning us extensively, Captain," Lieutenant Kai Chen reported from his sensor station, suppressing a smile. "Particularly interested in our quantum wake signature. They seem concerned about its irregularity." Santos nodded, keeping her expression neutral despite the satisfaction she felt. The Stormweaver's apparent technological inferiority was a masterpiece of deception, every imperfection carefully engineered to draw exactly the kind of attention they wanted. Earth's Strategic Intelligence Division had spent years crafting this moment. Multiple alien vessels adjusting position for better scanning angles. Chen continued. "The Meridian ships are particularly interested in our propulsion system. Their quantum sensors are quite thorough." Through the viewport, Santos could see the alien ships, sleek vessels of impossible geometries and exotic materials. The Meridian ships rippled like liquid mercury, while the Zarkari vessels seemed to bend light itself around their crystalline hulls. Among such advanced designs, the Stormweaver must have appeared like a steam engine at a quantum physics convention. "Incoming transmission," Communications Officer Sarah Rivera announced. "It's Ambassador Vexthor of the Meridian Confluence." "Put it through," Santos ordered, straightening her uniform. The ambassador's holographic form materialized on the bridge, his silvery skin and multiple eyes reflecting barely concealed amusement. "Captain Santos of Earth Vessel Stormweaver," he began, his universal translator struggling to mask his condescending tone. "We are concerned about the stability of your quantum containment systems. Our scans indicate severe efficiency losses and potentially dangerous fluctuations. We would be happy to provide emergency assistance." Santos shared a knowing look with Chen before responding. "Ambassador, we appreciate your concern, but I assure you our systems are functioning exactly as designed." A pause, then. "As designed? Surely you don't mean to suggest that such primitive quantum manipulation is intentional. The energy waste alone is." "Meets our current needs adequately," Santos interrupted smoothly. "We find our configuration suitable for our level of technological development." Through the external cameras, Santos could see more alien ships gathering, their crews no doubt sharing data about the apparently struggling human vessel. Perfect. Intelligence had confirmed that somewhere in this sector, someone was supplying advanced weapons to pirates targeting human colonies. The aliens thought they were welcoming a primitive species seeking protection. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity had chosen to appear weak. "Captain," Chen called out, his voice carrying just the right note of strain. "I'm detecting some unusual quantum fluctuations from the station's outer ring. Having to compensate." As if on cue, the Stormweaver's hull crackled with another burst of energy, causing several alien vessels to back away. Santos bit back a smile. Every malfunction was precisely calculated, every system performing exactly as intended. The real quantum technology hidden within the Stormweaver's core would have made their alien observers' technology look primitive by comparison. But they weren't here to show off. They were here to catch whoever was arming the pirates. And sometimes, the best way to catch a predator was to look like prey. The Stormweaver continued its approach to the station, its systems struggling exactly as planned. Behind its facade of primitive technology, the ship's true capabilities hummed with lethal potential, waiting for the moment when humanity would show the galaxy why appearances could be deceiving. Let them watch, let them judge, let them underestimate. Soon enough, they would learn. The attack began with a ripple in quantum space that sent the station's defensive systems into chaos. Lieutenant Chen's fingers flew across his sensor displays as 50 vessels materialized in perfect attack formation, their hulls gleaming with technology that no pirate fleet should possess. Multiple hostile contacts, Chen reported, his voice steady despite the surge of adrenaline. Configuration matches known pirate vessels, but their quantum signatures. He paused, sharing a meaningful look with Captain Santos. They're running modified Meridian drives. Santos nodded grimly. The evidence they'd been waiting for had just arrived in force. Through the viewport, she watched as the pirate fleet's first volley tore through the station's supposedly impenetrable defensive screens like paper. The aliens' advanced shields, product of centuries of technological development, proved useless against weapons specifically calibrated to their frequencies. The station's primary defense grid is down, Rivera reported from communications. The pirates are using some kind of targeted quantum disruption. The Concordat ships can't maintain stable shield harmonics. The Meridian flagship listed to one side, its pristine hull scarred by weapons that shouldn't have existed outside their most secure military facilities. Ambassador Vex Thor's voice crackled through their comm system, panic replacing his earlier condescension. Stormweaver, you must withdraw immediately. Your vessel's primitive systems stand no chance against. Belay that order, Santos interrupted, rising from her command chair. Lieutenant Chen, status of our quantum core. Ready and waiting, Captain, Chen replied, his fingers hovering over controls that could have ended the battle in seconds. All systems primed. Just say the word. The pirates pressed their advantage, methodically dismantling the station's outer defenses. Their coordinated attack spoke of professional military training rather than random raider violence. Through the chaos of battle, Santos observed their tactics with clinical precision. Every move confirmed Earth's intelligence about where these pirates had gotten their ships in training. Captain Santos, Vex Thor's voice was barely controlled panic now. The station's quantum containment fields are failing. If they collapse, the resulting cascade will destroy half the sector. Santos finished. Yes, Ambassador, we're aware of the physics involved. Tell me, would you like to see what human quantum manipulation can really do? A burst of weapons fire illuminated the bridge as 3 pirate vessels broke formation, turning their attention to the seemingly vulnerable Stormweaver. Their sensor scans washed over the ship's hull, no doubt registering the same primitive quantum signatures that had drawn such mockery earlier. Ambassador, Santos continued, her voice carrying the weight of authority earned through years of preparation. I need you to broadcast to all Concordat vessels. Tell them to power down their defensive systems on my mark. Power down. Vex Thor's voice rose an octave. That would leave us completely defenseless. Your defenses are already useless against their weapons, Santos countered. And I would rather not have our response affected by any quantum interference from your systems. A moment of silence stretched across the channel. In that pause, Santos could almost hear the ambassador's worldview shifting, priorities realigning in the face of imminent destruction. Very well, he finally responded. Concordat vessels, prepare to drop shields on the human captain's mark. Santos allowed herself a small smile. Lieutenant Chen, initiate Project Stormfront. Show them what our primitive quantum manipulation was really designed for. With pleasure, Captain. Chen's fingers danced across his console, releasing safety protocols and charging primary arrays. Time to show them why Earth named this ship Stormweaver. The ship's quantum core, which had appeared to be barely containing its energy, now pulsed with precise, controlled power. The crackling energy that had drawn such concern from their alien observers coalesced into patterns that defied conventional physics. The Stormweaver was about to demonstrate why humanity had chosen to master fundamental forces rather than chase after alien technology. The pirates, perhaps sensing something amiss, opened fire. Their advanced weapons, so devastating against Concordat vessels, splashed harmlessly against the Stormweaver's hull, not because of superior shielding, but because there were no shields to penetrate. The ship's defense lay in something far more fundamental. What are they doing? Vexthor's voice carried equal parts fear and fascination as energy began to ripple across the Stormweaver's hull in impossible patterns. "Not doing, Ambassador," Santos corrected, allowing pride to enter her voice. "Unmaking. Lieutenant Chen, full power to the quantum cascade arrays. Let's show the galaxy what humanity's primitive science can really do." The Stormweaver shed its facade of weakness like a snake shedding its skin. The quantum core that had appeared unstable now pulsed with devastating precision, its energy forming patterns that made the alien observer's scientific instruments spark and fail. Lieutenant Chen's hands moved across his controls with practiced grace, each command part of a sequence humanity had rehearsed for years. "Quantum cascade initiating," Chen reported, his voice steady despite the excitement coursing through him. "Primary field harmonics aligned. Ready to rewrite local physics, Captain." The space around the Stormweaver began to shimmer like heat waves over desert sand. What had appeared as random energy leakage transformed into precisely controlled quantum fields, each one tuned to frequencies that shouldn't have been possible according to alien understanding of physics. "Now, Lieutenant," Santos commanded, "show them why we call it a cascade." Chen pressed his palm against the activation panel. The Stormweaver's quantum core released its carefully contained power, but instead of the explosion the pirates likely expected, the energy coalesced into controlled streams of pure force. The laws of physics themselves seemed to bend around the ship as it wielded power on a fundamental level. The first pirate vessel never stood a chance. The quantum cascade bypassed its shields completely, the energy-following patterns Chen had spent years learning to manipulate. The ship's hull didn't explode or melt. It simply ceased to exist as localized physics broke down at the quantum level. "Impossible," one of the pirate captains broadcast in panic. "Their weapons, they're manipulating fundamental forces." "No," Chen whispered as he directed another cascade stream. "We're manipulating the very fabric of reality itself." The Stormweaver began to move, its maneuvers unlike anything the gathered aliens had ever witnessed. Each turn, each acceleration created new quantum distortions that Chen used to reshape space around their targets. The ship wasn't just fighting, it was conducting an orbital ballet of destruction. 3 more pirate vessels vanished from existence before the others began to retreat, but Chen wasn't finished. The Stormweaver's quantum core cycled to its secondary configuration, and the real demonstration began. "Multiple cascade harmonics engaging," he reported, creating localized reality distortions in 3, 2, 1. The space between the Stormweaver and the pirate fleet erupted with phenomena that defied description. Areas where physics simply stopped working, zones where time flowed like moldy syrup, regions where probability itself collapsed into certainty. Each effect was carefully controlled, precisely targeted, and utterly devastating. "By all that's sacred," Ambassador Vexthor breathed. "The quantum fluctuations, they weren't instability at all. You were hiding a weapon system inside the fundamental forces of the universe itself." "Not just a weapon system," Santos corrected as another pirate ship succumbed to altered physics, an entirely new approach to understanding reality. "Sometimes, Ambassador, the simplest principles yield the most revolutionary results." The remaining pirate vessels attempted to break formation, but there was nowhere to run. The Stormweaver had transformed the space around them into a deadly maze of quantum anomalies. Their advanced shields, designed to deflect energy weapons and particle beams, proved useless against attacks that rewrote the very laws they depended on. Chen allowed himself a small smile as he guided another cascade with surgical precision. The quantum fields flowed like water through his fingers, each command bringing new impossibilities to life. This was what humanity had spent decades perfecting, not trying to match alien technology, but learning to manipulate reality itself. "Containment field 6 showing slight variance," his assistant reported, 0.3% above baseline. "Compensating," Chen responded, making a minute adjustment that caused an errant quantum stream to spiral back into alignment. On his main display, the battlefield appeared as a three-dimensional chessboard, with reality warping effects serving as both pieces and board lines. From the station's observation deck, the Meridian ambassador watched in stunned silence as the Stormweaver orchestrated its deadly dance. What had appeared as clumsy quantum manipulation now revealed itself as an intricate system of reality-altering fields, each one capable of rewriting physics with surgical precision. The pirates were learning, adapting their tactics to try to find holes in the Stormweaver's defenses. But what they didn't understand was that there were no holes. Every apparent gap was deliberately placed, every weakness carefully calculated to draw them exactly where Chen wanted them. "Watch this," he whispered to his assistant as he initiated a new sequence. The quantum fields began to pulse in synchronized patterns, creating interference waves that rippled through space. Where the waves intersected, reality itself seemed to fold and unfold, herding the pirate vessels into ever-tightening kill zones. A warning tone chimed as one of the larger pirate vessels activated some form of quantum pulse generator, attempting to disrupt the Stormweaver's field manipulations. Chen almost laughed. They still thought they were dealing with conventional technology. "Interesting approach," he commented as he rerouted power through secondary systems. The pulse washed over the Stormweaver's hull, and for a moment, their quantum fields wavered. The pirates surged toward the apparent weakness, exactly as planned. "Now," Chen commanded, his fingers dancing across the controls. The wavering fields suddenly snapped back into focus, but with a new configuration. The pirates found themselves caught in a four-dimensional web of quantum anomalies, each attempt to escape only leading them deeper into the trap. "Chen," Santo's voice carried a note of curiosity. "Are you actually using their own quantum wake signatures to guide your cascade effects?" "Yes, Captain," he confirmed, pride evident in his voice. "Their drives leave distinct ripples in reality. Our quantum fields naturally follow these paths of least resistance. The more they try to escape, the more they help us target them." From his station, Chen could see the battle reflected in his status displays. The Stormweaver had transformed a sphere of space, nearly 3 light minutes in diameter, into an ever-shifting maze of quantum distortions. Pirates who tried to flee found their escape routes cut off by precisely placed reality warps. Those who tried to fight back discovered their weapons dispersing harmlessly into the quantum fields, their energy only adding to Chen's resources. "Look at the field geometry," his assistant breathed, pointing to a particularly elegant conjunction of quantum streams. "It's beautiful." Chen nodded. Beauty and physics had always been inseparable to him. Where others saw chaos in quantum mechanics, he saw patterns. Where they saw limitations, he saw possibilities. Now those patterns were writing themselves across space in letters of pure force, teaching the galaxy a lesson about underestimating human ingenuity. "Primary containment grid holding at 98% efficiency," he reported. "Secondary and tertiary fields maintaining optimal alignment. We can keep this up as long as necessary, Captain." The Stormweaver continued its deadly ballet, its quantum core singing the song of controlled power. In the distance, more pirate vessels discovered too late that retreat wasn't an option. They had walked into humanity's web. And now they would learn exactly what primitive technology could accomplish in the hands of those who truly understood its potential. The pirate fleet's confidence shattered like reality against the Stormweaver's display of power. Their remaining vessels, still impressive in number but broken in spirit, began emergency faster than light spin-ups. "Multiple FTL signatures building," Chen reported, his hands never stopping their intricate dance across the controls. 19 vessels attempting emergency transitions. Their drive signatures match Meridian military patterns, definitely stolen technology. "Time to show them our second surprise." Santo's voice remained calm. "Deploy the quantum anchor." Through the Stormweaver's external cameras, Chen watched as the pirate vessels aligned themselves for FTL jumps, their quantum drives pulsing with increasing power. Under normal circumstances, they would have vanished into the safety of hyperspace. These were not normal circumstances. Initiating wide-spectrum quantum field modulation, Chen announced, his fingers executing the complex sequence he had practiced countless times in simulation, redirecting power from primary weapon systems to spatial containment grid. The Stormweaver's quantum core, still glowing with controlled power, began to pulse in a new rhythm. Instead of projecting focused streams of reality-warping energy, it now created expanding waves of precisely tuned quantum fields that rippled through space like ripples in a pond. Impossible, the Meridian ambassador's voice cracked with disbelief. They're generating some kind of localized space-time distortion field. Not generating, Chen corrected quietly, though he knew the ambassador couldn't hear. Revealing. The field was always there. We just needed the pirates to power up their FTL drives first. The first pirate vessel attempted its jump to faster-than-light speed. For a moment, its form began to blur as it crossed the threshold between normal space and hyperspace. Then, with a flash of displaced energy, it snapped back into reality like a rubber band. The aftermath of battle hung in space like frozen lightning, quantum distortions slowly settling back into normal reality. The Stormweaver floated serenely among the captured pirate vessels, its quantum core now pulsing with its familiar disguised rhythm. But no one watching would mistake that gentle glow for weakness ever again. Final quantum harmonics returning to standard operational parameters, Chen reported, his fingers moving through the shutdown procedure with practiced precision. All systems nominal, Captain. The Concordet's emergency response channels had fallen into an almost reverent silence. The initial shock of the Stormweaver's display had given way to something deeper, a fundamental reassessment of everything they thought they knew about human technological capabilities. Captain Santos, ambassador of Xthor's transmission, carried none of his earlier condescension. The Concordat Council requests your presence for an immediate emergency session. We have many questions. I'm sure you do, Ambassador, Santos responded, adjusting her uniform as she prepared to leave the bridge. Lieutenant Chen will accompany me. His technical expertise will be illuminating. As they walked through the crystalline corridors of the station, Chen noticed how the alien diplomats gave them a wide berth, their expressions a mixture of fear and fascination. The Stormweaver's demonstration had shattered more than just the pirate fleet. It had broken centuries of assumptions about humanity's place in the galactic order. The council chamber stretched above them like a cathedral of light, its surfaces now reflecting the gentle pulse of the Stormweaver's quantum core. Representatives from 17 species lined the walls, their attention fixed on the human delegation with new respect. Project Stormfront, Santos began once the formal greetings were complete, represents humanity's understanding that true innovation doesn't always mean pursuing the most advanced technology. Sometimes it means looking at basic principles from new angles. Chen stepped forward, activating a holographic display that detailed the Stormweaver's systems. Our quantum manipulation technology serves multiple functions: propulsion, defense, and tactical operations. While other species focused on increasing power output, we focused on control, on understanding the fundamental forces that shape reality itself. The Meridian ambassador leaned forward, his silvery scales catching the light. The quantum-piercing weapons we detected on the pirate vessels, they were based on classified military technology that was stolen from our most secure facilities. We know, Santos replied calmly. That's why we designed our systems specifically to counter them. The pirates weren't just testing your defenses, they were testing stolen Meridian technology against Concordat security. We simply arranged to be here when they did. A murmur ran through the assembled council members. The implications were clear. Earth had not only developed revolutionary defensive technology, but had also uncovered a plot that threatened the Concordat stability. Your primitive quantum containment, another council member observed, was actually a sophisticated system for manipulating the fundamental forces of reality. You turned our assumptions about your technological limitations into a tactical advantage. Chen nodded, pulling up more detailed schematics. Humanity's approach has always been to understand fundamental principles deeply rather than simply adopting advanced technology we don't fully comprehend. The Stormweaver isn't just a warship. It's a demonstration of what can be achieved when you stop trying to match someone else's path and forge your own instead. And now, Vexthor asked, his earlier arrogance replaced by genuine curiosity, what does humanity want from the Concordat? Santos smiled, but there was steel behind her expression. What we've always wanted, Ambassador, genuine partnership. Not protection, not patronage, but true collaboration between equals. We've shown you what humanity can achieve on our own. Imagine what we could accomplish together. The council chamber erupted in discussion, but Chen's attention was drawn to his quantum field readings. Something about the pirates' stolen technology had been nagging at him throughout the battle. The quantum signatures weren't quite right for purely Meridian tech. There were subtle variations, hints of other influences. Someone else was out there. Someone who had managed to combine different species' quantum technologies in ways that should have been impossible. The pirates had been a test, but of what? And for whom? As the council debated humanity's new role in the galactic community, Shen made a mental note to dig deeper into those anomalous readings. The Stormweaver had won this battle, but he suspected they had only glimpsed the edge of a much larger storm brewing in the quantum depths of space. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy in spectacular fashion. But as Chen watched the alien diplomats argue and scheme, he knew this was just the beginning. They had changed the game. Now they would have to play it. The Stormweaver's quantum core pulsed steadily in orbit, no longer hiding its true nature. Like humanity itself, it had shed its mask of weakness, revealing something far more fascinating and dangerous than anyone had expected. The galaxy would never be the same. And that, after all, had been the plan all along.